Yes, y'all. Welcome in to episode 55 of the Dumb Marks Podcast, your favorite Saturday brunch. The best four-man booth in the business are back at it again. Gentlemen, long time no talk. Right? We had
a couple hours ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had an After Dark episode last night, a little watch along with SmackDown. Broke down the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. So bell to bell this week, guys. If you're looking for WWE talk, head on over to our YouTube channel. And you can watch the video from last night's watch along, as well as predictions for the pay-per-view. Beautiful Saturday.
Very gorgeous.
Wouldn't know.
You ain't been outside? You ain't been out the back cave yet?
Nope. And I ain't leaving.
Beautiful out there.
It's 11 a.m., bro. You got to, get out and experience life. Get some vitamin D on you. It'll help raise your happiness.
I don't need the D.
That's what she said, but that's a different podcast for a different episode. I had a question to start off the day with, and that line right there just completely threw me off. Like I don't know where to start, what to do. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing right now.
You don't have your question?
Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna come in here and crack on Jason about his sit-ups comment from earlier in the week, but
hey,
that just
it ain't happening. I'm not an exercise type guy. Doesn't work for me at all. I don't see how you just like pick up things and put them down. Like,
you mean like lifting weights?
You do that at work, right? You lift things up and you put them down.
I was in my basement one day. I got a weight bench downstairs, and I was going by myself, and I got stuck on the bench press. And this was my brother lived here too, but I was too embarrassed to yell for anybody. So I was just sitting there like this, and I'm just sitting there rolling
it down.
Like, I ain't lifted weight since.
They know your own strength.
How much was on the bar?
I don't know, but Planet Fitness will fool you with that. With the cable machines.
Yeah, free weights and machine weights are two totally different things.
I'm like, I got this.
No. Yeah, no.
You feel stronger than you are.
Yeah, rum and cokes will do that too. All right, what do you guys want to get into? TV wise, movie wise, intro wise. I don't got nothing. My week was a boring ass week. Shout out to Damien. Want to give a shout out to Damien for purchasing a shirt from the Dumb Marks Pod. So nice. Shout out to you. Thanks for the support. Appreciate it.
You better be over bases on it.
Head over to prowrestlingtees.com/dumbmarkspod to get yourself some merch. Shameless plug there. But yeah, shout out to him. And then shout out to my niece. She's turning 21 today. So the jersey's coming out of the rafters, doing a little bar crawl later on today.
Wow. Wow. Woo.
Where at?
Well, we're starting off in Swissvale, so we'll see where that takes us from there.
You'll end up Southside.
End up in Swissvale. The party might end up in Southside. Steve's staying in Swissvale.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. It depends, But yeah, no.
For next week.
Yeah,
you might still get over next week.
I don't know what she's expecting me to do. Like that jersey's been retired for a while. Pulling that out. Like I don't have 4 days to recover. Like it's just not gonna happen. So we'll see. But I'm definitely gonna go out. Have a celebratory drink or two. Eat some food, see some people that I haven't seen in a while, and go at it with that. But other than that, it's typical week, typical weekend. Doing the family shit, laundry, all the fun stuff that we get to do as adults. that, you know, growing up, it was like, oh yeah, be an adult, it'll be fun. Fucking sucks.
That's my day.
Yeah.
Laundry.
Yep.
Sucks. Laundry, bills, just not. It's not any fun.
Not what I signed up for.
Yeah, no. So, all right. So with that being said, looking over my list here, Donald, I don't know if you want to get into the gaming stuff from Nintendo Direct with the announcements they had, or if you were saving that for the end of the show. But
no, Chris can do it because he was going to talk about it. I have something else for gaming though.
Okay.
I have with the PS4 update that happened last week. Sony fixed the CMOS bomb that I talked about like a few months ago, saying that if the servers went down, you won't be able to play any physical disc or digital games off the PS4. Well, Sony listened and they actually fixed it, and they did tests, and other gamers did tests with it by taking the battery out of the PS4, and the digital games and the physical disc work. So if anything ever happens to the servers, you will still be able to play your games.
Nice.
Yeah,
I
and
got
that's
my PS4 back on now, right?
yeah, and then that's really all I really caught gaming wise. That was important. But I know there was some other stuff this week too. I didn't really catch up on.
Yeah, Nintendo had their show announcements, leaks, whatever you want to call it. Some big stuff came out from them. Stuff that I'm super excited for, especially the online announcements that they were going to make as far as, you know, what you're able to play now. So Chris, I don't know if you want to get into those details with it.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this to a point. So I have the Nintendo Switch Online, and right now you can play like old NES games, you can play Super Nintendo games. They have a decent amount in there, and they build upon it over time, and you pay like $20 a month for it. They're going to start adding Nintendo 64 games and Sega Genesis games. It says there's going to be a new membership for Nintendo Switch Online coming in late October, and then they're going to add, it looks like, around like 9 N64 games to start and about 14 Genesis games to start. And the thing that I don't like is that it says there's going to be a new membership plan, so I don't know what they haven't announced what they're going to charge for this. Like I said, right now it's about $20 for the year, so we'll see how much more they add on to it to get the.
I think it's going to be like 30 or 35 for the year. I think they're going to raise it by like 15.
Oh, it's for the year.
Yeah, it's for the year.
Well,
Yeah, for the year.
That's good for the year. Yeah.
Year. I thought you meant for the month. I'm like,
No.
Oh man.
No, for the year. So yeah, like I'm super excited for the Sega. That was my system of choice growing up. And they're bringing back the Sega controllers as well as the N64 controller. So
$50 though.
So what? It's $50.
The other, I have the NES one, I have the Super Nintendo one, and those were only $20 a piece. So whenever I saw them put the $50 price tag on this, I was like, seriously?
Well, they're wireless, or the ones you have now.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll still pay $50 for it. Like to have the old Sega controller in my hands, and you know what I mean. Like, you know, hopefully I can get Mortal Kombat uploaded on there, and I can the original, and I can put in the blood code, you know, from back in the day.
ABAC.
Right.
The launch game's no Mortal Kombat yet. But
did they announce what games they're putting on first?
Yeah, they do have the list of the 9 and like 14 games. So it looks
read them off. What do we got?
Looks like a Castlevania. There's a Contra game. Echo the Dolphin, Golden Axe.
Echo was my shit.
Musha, I'm not familiar with that. Fantasy Star 4. Rise Star. Sonic 2. Streets of Rage. And is it Strider?
Yeah.
So there's a couple that I can't read on there. I can't, like, because they just have like small pictures of the game.
Streets of Rage will definitely be that'll be playing for sure.
For 64, you get Super Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, Star Fox 64, Yoshi's Story, one of the Zeldas, Winback, Mario Tennis, Dr. Mario 64, and then there's a game I can't see. It looks like it's Japanese.
You could have stopped at Mario Kart 64 because that's all that's being played.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of their first party games on both sides. It sounds like.
Yeah.
But that's
You
not.
give me that and GoldenEye, and I'm good. I
If
don't
they
care
would add
about nothing else.
Add GoldenEye and Wave Racer. I'm cool. Because
And
I know
Golden-
they're not going to add the wrestling
Wave
games and
Racer?
stuff like that.
GoldenEye will be tough to get because that's an Xbox now.
Okay.
Yeah, Microsoft bought Rare, so that's gonna be tough.
Speaking of gaming, this is what I wanted to start the show with. Since I was frazzled by Jason's key comment. So this plays off of games, but not video games. This is board games, more specifically card games. So I saw this and I felt like my whole life I've been lied to, right? And in this game in particular, everybody has their own set of rules for this game. You go into certain households, you got to play house rules because everybody plays it differently, even though the people that came up with the game have been consistently telling us how to play the game correctly, yet we still throw it back in their face and say, no, you're wrong. This is how you're supposed to play it. So Uno tweeted out, right? You do not need to pull a card until you have a color that matches the discard pile. If you don't have a card to play, you only have to pick up one card. So I don't know how Yins have been playing Uno for your entire life.
You pick up until you get the color.
You pick up until you get the color, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, according to Uno, officially, you don't need to pick up until you have a card that matches that color. You only need to pick up one card.
So do you skip your turn?
They didn't elaborate any further. So
Continue house
then
rules.
You pick up one and then it goes to the next person.
yeah, I saw somebody screenshotted this tweet from Uno, and that's how I found it. But like I read that and I'm like, well, wait a second, that's not how the game's supposed to be played. But it's freaking Uno telling us how to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if Uno trolls people because all the time they're coming up saying stuff like, no, this is not how you're supposed to play. This is actually how it's supposed to be. But everybody continues to tell Uno that they're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you can tell the
creator
that created the game.
But isn't the point to get people to pick up more cards?
Mm-hmm.
Play house rules.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what I thought. Like, and over the years, that could have been the tie-in from like Crazy Eights. I don't know how much you guys play cards, but
Mm-hmm.
Crazy Eights, you got to pick up until you get the suit or the number, right?
Yes.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
so maybe that just converted over to Uno at some point, and people just started adding in that. But yeah, apparently you don't need to do it. So that just completely blew my mind after I saw that and read that. I'm like, I'm playing Uno wrong my entire life.
Yeah,
because you can't stack, but
because how I played Uno, I played Crazy Eights before I played Uno, so I played the game just like Crazy Eights. So that's how I played it.
Been doing it wrong. Been doing it wrong.
I actually got in a new Uno pack yesterday. Up, down, down released their own pack because they had played so much during the pandemic that that Uno partnered with them for something. So it's like a wild card challenge. Like they have a couple different cards in there, so might have to play some Uno whenever we're actually together again.
Yeah, that'll be something we'll play for the Dunmarks Championship belt. Spoiler alert, there will be one coming soon. And spoiler alert, you will be getting challenges between the four of us to see who walks around with the Dunmarks Championship belt from week to week.
Unpopular opinion, Uno's trash. Based in
Whoa. What?
Sorry.
Do we need a one gotta go?
go?
Do we need a one gotta go? Yeah. Or is that what we're doing?
Uno's trash. That's the game where you can just say whatever you want to your friends that whenever they piss you off. Things get heated with Uno.
I mean, like you talk about games that lead the fighting, and Uno and Monopoly are the top two.
Yes, they are. Monopoly led to many fights in my house.
That's gonna have to be a one gotta go. One of us is gonna have to come up with that, and we're gonna have to debate that and get into that because that'll lead to some heated discussion amongst the fan base listening to the show who watch in and tune in for that segment each and every week. All right, so nothing else gaming wise? No. Movies, TV, entertainment wise, not too much that I saw. I did see that there's going to be a Lost Boys remake. at Warner Brothers. The cast and director were announced. So, the classic vampire movie, Lost Boys, getting the reboot. So what's old is new again. And it looks like it's going to be Noah Jupe from A Quiet Place movies, and Jaden Martell of the It movies are going to be the 2 stars. So if you're into Lost Boys, there you go. You got a reboot. You can see.
Can't say I've ever seen it.
No,
Never saw
I
it.
don't think I saw it
Never
either.
saw Lost Boys?
No.
Really? Okay, may have to go back and watch that. Add that to the list.
You gonna
Add
make
it
us
to the
homework?
list, Chris. I don't think I had anything else TV entertainment wise. I'm scrolling through my stuff right now.
I didn't
Anybody
have
have-
anything on snacks or anything.
Mm-mm.
Jason, do you have anything?
For snacks, I have Tito's is coming out with a hot sauce.
I saw that.
Is it a flaming hot sauce or?
It'll probably eventually come with a flaming hot sauce, but it's just regular hot sauce. Kit Kat has a Cinnabon flavored Kit Kat, but it's only available in Dubai. And Reese's is coming out with a peanut brittle miniature cup. I know y'all already have peanut butter out, but I've yet to find it.
Okay.
So, that's it.
Yeah, I didn't have nothing else intro wise. So, with that being said, nobody got anything else? Let's get into World of Pro Wrestling, bell to bell. All right, so as I said, we did WWE last night on the prediction show with the Watch Along SmackDown. We covered main roster stuff as well as dabbled into NXT 2.0 a little bit. So right now, bell to bell, I guess for the most part, we're going AEW heavy this week. Grand Slam week in New York City, Arthur Ashe Stadium. Jay, I know you only watched Grand Slam night 1. You didn't watch Rampage last night. Did you read up on Rampage at all from last night?
I didn't.
Okay. All right. So Jason can comment on night 1 and listen in.
I can't comment on night 2.
So overall, huge success for AEW. Arthur Ashe, largest crowd they've had to date, a little over 20,000 people, sold out arena. I did hear some issues as far as like concessions go and drinks go, and that the workers at the stadium there were not prepared for it to be a sellout and to have the crowd size that they had there. So there were a lot of long lines. People were unhappy, money stuff. The typical stuff we're hearing from stadiums that are like coming back after being, off from COVID. So, staffing could have been an issue, so on and so forth. Guys, if you're going to live events, let's not bury the staff completely. Okay. They're coming back in after not being there for a while. Who knows what's going on there wise as far as, people coming back to jobs, stuff changing. Some venues are going strictly cashless. So, that's causing issues if there's problems, on the technology side. So yeah, just, let's not bang on them too hard.
Be patient.
Yeah, be patient. It'll help out everybody. But
there's a concept.
Be patient.
So, other than that, night 1, Grand Slam. Thoughts, feelings, opinions. What'd you like? What you didn't like? Loaded card.
What was a loaded card? Kind of gave me, not that it was the exact same, but it kind of reminded me a little bit of like when Nitro would do the Georgia Dome. Kind of had that little bit of feel to me.
Yeah, it was. It was a cable pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Night 1 was for sure that could have been a pay-per-view card. And I don't think too many people would have been disappointed if that was a pay-per-view card.
I would have been even okay if, like, they keep talking about like they're going to do these like quarterly specials on TNT. Like this could have been for that, like on a Saturday night, just a 4-hour show on TNT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they made the announcement. I think yesterday. It was either late Thursday or yesterday, but they did announce the move over date for Dynamite going to TBS January 5th. It'll switch over to TBS. Rampage Rampage is staying on TNT, and Tony Khan was on Busted Open yesterday and said that for the foreseeable future, Rampage is going to stay on TNT.
Okay.
So maybe Rampage on TNT is how you'll get the quarterly specials. Is like a playoff of Rampage. It'll be Rampage and then whatever it's titled, but not sure if that'll be the case or if they'll do, a special and then Rampage on Fridays. But yeah, we'll see if the audience travels over to TBS. I saw some people go, well, why are they moving to TBS? Like, isn't TNT a bigger network? Don't they get aren't they seen in more homes? People more familiar with TNT? And I'm not sure, like, as far as cable providers go, if both, because they're kind of under the same umbrella, if both channels are on your networks. I know on my cable package I have both, but TBS, they're not going to have to get bumped around on TBS. There's nothing to oppose them. TNT, they got basketball starting back up.
Hockey.
You're going to have hockey. So, like, instead of consistently playing ping pong with stuff Wednesday nights, like, to me, the smart move is to move Dynamite over to TBS. You're unopposed. You can run on there every single Wednesday from 8 to 10. Everybody's going to know where you're at, what time you're on. Don't worry. Don't got to worry about moves like how we have, coming up in 2 weeks. We get a special Saturday Dynamite on the 16th of October. So, yeah, I mean, it's good. Hopefully the audience travels over. I don't, hitting the difference between channel 825 and 827 on my TV is not going to make me not tune in to Dynamite, But yeah, so that was some additional news that came out as far as programming wise goes for them.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. Like, I really haven't even understood why, instead of moving Dynamite to Saturdays, why they just haven't moved to TBS on Wednesday nights as it is.
This is nothing but like replay shows.
Yeah,
all the time.
It's pretty much all you get on there.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's like contract wise, you know what I mean? Like they get some, finishing up the deal. Like they signed a new contract essentially with the move to TBS. So like different money being paid out, you know what I mean? Like, so, that'd be the case. But back to the card on Wednesday, formatting wise of the show, before we get into the actual matches and segments, were you guys okay with how they formatted the show as far as who opened and who main evented?
Yeah.
I was okay with it.
Okay.
Jay?
For it being a title match at the end, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, so Bryan and Omega wasn't a title match, right? That was just to see who's the best in the world, is how they built it going into it. It was the dream matchup, the one that they were, people been clamoring for the most. If you were fantasy booking from promotion to promotion, I think a lot of people would have had Bryan Danielson, formerly known as Daniel Bryan, going up against Kenny Omega on their bingo card. So to open the show with that, grabbing in the audience, getting them to stay tuned in for the rest of the program, to me, that was smart, especially if you're trying to attract casual viewers that don't normally watch AEW, who are WWE staunches and go, hey, Bryan Daniels wrestling for the first time since WrestleMania. Like, I want to see him wrestle again. That putting him on first, to me, is a good way to get people tuned in and then have them hopefully stay for the rest of the show. Is the way that I looked at it. So,
and the way they ended it, I was thinking, like, after it happened, I was like, well, maybe if they put this on last, maybe they didn't want people to have like a bad taste in their mouth for the main event, for it to go the whole way. But,
the only so formatting wise, everybody's cool with Britt and Ruby going on last main event, right?
Yeah.
Again, shine some light on the women's division. We'll get into that as we break down night one. But circling back to the beginning of the show, the match itself, Probably one of the best matches that I've watched in a long time. I had the same thoughts as what Bully Ray and them talked about on Busted Open the following day. Was I immediately wanted to see them go 60 minutes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't clamor for Iron Man matches. And Bully brought this up, and he said, I hate Iron Man matches because it's rare that you can get two people that can do it that'll keep your attention for the full 60 minutes.
Yeah.
He's like, you have Flair and Steamboat, you have Michaels and Brett. Like, there's not too many people that can go in there for 60 minutes and literally keep you the entire time. He goes, after watching them go 30 minutes, I want to see them go 60 because these two can keep my attention for the full 60 minutes. Is it the greatest match ever seen? I mean, that's, prisoner of a moment in the microwave culture we're in. That's what everybody was saying. Over time, you can go back and review matches, and that's completely subjective. But for what it was on Wednesday night, the only complaint that I have from it was that you didn't get, and I don't know if it was because the crowd was so loud and people that were in the arena could have chimed in on this on social media, but I didn't see anything. Like, you didn't get the notification how much time was left. Like, I was looking at the clock and I'm like, okay, is this a 60-minute time limit? Did they make the announcement before that it was a 30-minute time limit? Because they were coming up on 30 minutes and I'm like, what's going on? And I think I briefly heard Justin Roberts say 1 minute remaining.
That's what I heard too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was the main
I
person.
noticed with him whenever he's done these time limits, he doesn't come across on TV real loud. Like I've noticed that in previous ones, even whenever it's not a huge crowd like that. But yeah, I did hear him say something, and then I heard, I think it was Excalibur say 45 seconds left. Yeah. It's like, oh, I guess he was giving the 1 minute.
But if you're gonna do that, then do it how New Japan does, where they give you the five minutes remaining.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
3 minutes remaining, 1 minute remaining, and as they announce the times, the announcer gets louder, to let you know, like, hey, the bigger sense of urgency, you're about to run out of time. So I think if they would have added that into it, like, it would have been perfect as far as execution goes. To me, that was the only thing that didn't come across. That, and then the beat down afterwards. You don't need that. Let that breathe. They just went 30 minutes and had an instant classic. Just let that breathe between. Why do you have to send the elite down and then to have, Christian and Luchasaurus and them come down? Like, yes, okay, you can tease the show for Friday night, the matchup for Friday night, but you could have did that with a backstage segment.
And they was damn near fighting on top of them too.
Yeah, like you didn't need it. It didn't do anything. It didn't further the storyline for the 6-man on Friday, and it didn't help Omega or Bryan as far as what they just did in the ring between the two of them.
All it did was get them on the show. That was it.
That's it. Like always.
I'd be okay with seeing an Iron Man match from these guys, as long as it's more of a traditional Iron Man match. Like, I hate whenever people do like the 30-minute Iron Man matches, because I just feel like those are rushed. Like, because I think the point of the Iron Man match is that you guys can go, but I hate like whenever like there's 5 minutes into the match and you get the first pinfall. I don't need to see Brett Shawn every time where it goes, no pinfalls, goes into overtime. But I like to see it like whenever the pinfalls come later. And I hope they would do this right and wouldn't do anything rushed, because I think these two could probably go over 30 minutes without a pinfall.
Well, yeah, I mean, they went 30 minutes on Wednesday night with no pinfall. I saw somebody put up on Twitter that they actually like broke down this stats as if it was like a boxing match or a UFC match. Like, they had total strikes landed, high impact moves, finishes, pinfall attempts, submission time spent in a submission. Like, broke it all down. I'm like, yo, that's really cool.
Compy box up in here.
Do that, yeah, like that. You know what I mean? So, like, you can throw something like that graphic up before their Iron Man match and say, hey, look how evenly these two were paired when they went 30 minutes. And if you go down the numbers, like they were damn near similar and almost identical. Now I don't know if they planned the match out that way or what, but each of them had a submission attempt. Time spent was almost the same. High impact moves, I think Omega landed 3 more than Bryan according to this graphic. Like pinfall attempts, it was the same. Like that's something that could help build up the Iron Man match because of how evenly matched those two are. So I forget who tweeted that out, and I shout out to you. I apologize for not remembering, but yeah, that was something that was cool to see afterwards, because I never really seen a wrestling match broken down like that in true UFC boxing type form. Jay, you were shaking your head earlier whenever I brought up them going 60 minutes. You don't want to see them in an Iron Man match?
Nah. Because like the first 20 minutes was all chops.
So you didn't like the story they told on Wednesday?
Not until it picked up. Like the first half of the match, you pretty much got the same thing from a WWE match. Slow,
I think the
chops, holds, chops, and then it picked up like 10 minutes or 10 minutes before the end, and then it got good.
I think that's different. I think that's different from an AEW match because how AEW match. It's like it's spot fest right off the bat, so it slowed it down.
It's funny that you bring that up, Donald, and this was going to be one of my overarching points to the show on Wednesday night. You got like wrestling on Wednesday. You didn't have spot fest wrestling on Wednesday. If you go back and look at those matches, like a lot of those matches were old school traditional wrestling matches. Did they have a move or two in there that you would consider modern spot fest? Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Darby doing a couple things, if you want to consider like a tope con hilo as part of modern style wrestling. But for the most part, like it was not like watching a typical Wednesday night Dynamite show, like compared to last night.
And that's what Bryan said whenever he came in, was that he's a wrestler and that's what he wants to do now. So, and that was a good start for him.
And I think that plays into what Jay didn't like about the match was that I said, on last week's show, the biggest difference is what you're going to see with Bryan in the ring. And Wednesday night, the way he wrestled was different than what he did in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Submission-wise, he pulled out moves that I haven't seen before. The physicality from him was more intense. His chest was just god awful. Like, I don't know if that's because he hasn't taken chops in a while, or Omega just chops that damn hard, because his chest was purple, dark purple by the end of that match. Like,
looked like he was just in there with Walter.
Yeah, exactly. The only move that I didn't like, and it wasn't so much that I didn't like the move, it's more because Bryan took the move, the Snapdragon onto the ramp.
Yeah.
Given all his head injuries and everything else, like to me that was something. And then you followed it up with the long ass running V trigger.
Yeah.
Like that to me is something that like that's where I worry about him in AEW, is taking those types of moves given his history. It's the same concern I had with Christian coming into AEW because of his concussion issues and the style that they wrestle. Is it going to be something that's going to catch up to them sooner rather than later? And hopefully not at all. I don't want to see either one of them have concussion issues again. But those were the two moves where I was like, I was looking to see how he was, to make sure like, okay, he's good, he can continue. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying Omega's unsafe, because he's safe in the ring. It's just seeing Danielson take those specific moves makes me hold my breath a little bit.
Well,
it'll be interesting to see, because I don't know what AEW's protocol is for concussions and things like that. They don't have to come out and say what the protocol is since they're not a publicly traded company.
Just to keep the match going.
Are they going to be able to check on him? Are they going to check on him, weekly, monthly, whatever? Compared to like for WWE, they were constantly checking on Daniel Bryan.
Right. So that, I mean, to me, like that was the only thing that I was worried about. The show itself did 1.27 as far as views go on Wednesday night. So a little uptick. Not the highest rated Dynamite. I think the first ever Dynamite was higher, and I think there may have been one or two other shows that were higher as far as total viewers goes. But I mean, solid number from a viewership wise. Do they stay around that 1.27 mark, 1.1? I think they've been averaging around 1 million, a little above 1 million on Wednesday nights over the last couple weeks. So hopefully they can keep that going.
I'm sure it'll probably tick down a little bit next week, seeing how hyped up this event was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going back to where they put that match at being first, I also heard that they wanted that match on first because the first match don't have that many commercial breaks in it, so it would go longer.
I did notice that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like around the 20-minute mark they finally took a commercial break.
Yeah, they said that. Yeah, so it would go longer.
Yeah.
Like it's tough with commercial breaks. Like if they could have done like more sponsorship to have less commercials for the show, that would have been kind of cool. To make it really feel like a big event.
You brought up injuries in AEW with protocols. I just saw on Rumor Roundup on Cage Size that Brian Cage is out right now dealing with a knee issue following the stem cell procedure. So that's why him and Ricky Starks haven't wrestled yet.
Okay.
But yeah, everybody else.
What does everybody think of him on the mic on Rampage?
Well, we can touch on this. I thought last night's trio was 1,000 times better than 4-man booth.
Yes.
And I know it came across heavy as Starks and Taz being the heel color guys, but I thoroughly enjoyed listening to last night's show more from a commentary perspective than I did any of the other Rampages.
Yeah, I know Jericho was in the card, but it was refreshing him not talking over people.
Yeah, it still kind of felt like Ricky got lost in there a little bit. I don't know. He hasn't hit for me. Like there's a couple times where him and Taz were going back and forth, and Taz would hype him up, going like, "That's a really good point, Ricky," and that was cool. And I didn't mind like they're playing off each other, but I agree. Jericho not being on made the booth so much better. If he just calms down a little bit, I think
that's it.
The booth would be fine.
All right. So then you had CM Punk come out and do a promo after the match.
Good placement for that too.
Good placement for them. Keep the crowd hot. How about Brian soaked in the we saw with Sasha and Bianca at WrestleMania, like them getting caught up in the moment with the fans' reaction to the match before the bell even rang. Mm-hmm. And there's a great clip on social media where Brian's in the corner and he's smiling and everything else, and then they pan across to Omega, and Omega's like, "I'm not selling this shit." Like you can see him mouth the words to Brian, like, I'm not gonna acknowledge what's going on right now. But that crowd was so loud. I mean, the pop for the lockup. Like, when's the last time you heard a pop on a lockup?
I mean, Tony Khan said that New York is their largest audience. So
Punk's promo, to me, I still feel like he's getting his footing on the mic. Which is weird to say because it's CM Punk and the promos that he used to cut. But I mean, I thought it was an okay promo. Like, to me, it wasn't like, oh my god, I can't wait to watch the match on Friday now, or oh my god, I can't wait for the bad, angry CM Punk to show up instead of the happy, loving CM Punk, just glad to be back and then soaking it all in. But I mean, for what it was and where it was at on the card, I thought it was perfect placement, like you said, Chris, to have him come out after that match. Anybody else got any thoughts on Punk's promo from Wednesday?
I did what I had to do.
Fast forward through it.
Then we got MJF and Brian Pillman. Booker T came out and said that MJF is the best on the microphone in the business. And like we've had this discussion before, and I've said that. So Booker, thanks for listening to our show and stealing my take, because you have a bigger platform than I do. But no, like to me, my only thing what I didn't like about this match was, based on the build, I thought it should have been more of a brawl, and I thought I should have gotten more anger out of Pillman. More fists, more kicks. Not as many wrestling moves as I saw. Like it should have been more of a fight instead of
a little stiffer.
It started off as kind of a fight, but then it turned into regular wrestling match. Like I wanted him to go out there and brawl and fight and everything else, and then that be the reason why he slipped up and gets caught in the salt of the earth, in the armbar to tap out to lose the match. But no, I mean I think it shined a light on Pillman.
Yes, pushing future stars. I'm okay for it.
I think it said what AEW thinks of him. Because honestly, I felt like this match should have just been hot-shotted in Cincinnati. They were taping Rampage there, and like it should have just been Dynamite to Rampage. Like it made more sense to have it there than to do it in New York. But I got saying that AEW sees something in Pillman that they wanted to wait a few weeks and put it on the big show.
Yeah, them two work together in MLW. And they had a good feud in MLW and good matches in MLW, so they're not unfamiliar with each other. But yeah, I thought, like I said, it helped shine a light on Pillman, another young star, Donald, like you said, that can be built up. Gives MJF a win, gets him back on the track of collecting W's to elevate him back up after losing the match to Jericho. So yeah, I mean, who
is Griff injured? His partner.
I don't know if Griff's injured or not. I know like they played that up at the trainer's table with him after the Cincinnati show, but I haven't seen anything to come out and say that he's actually injured. It was weird not seeing him come out on Wednesday night. Like I thought he would have been out there, considering Wardlow was out there. But yeah, I mean, what's funny is
already seeing him cut the tag team.
Yeah, because I mean,
I don't think that's the case, because I think they see something in Varsity Blondes as a tag team.
I like them as a tag team. I do.
Yeah, and I think
young people in that it can work.
Yeah, and I think Griff could, potentially develop into a singles person. Like I could see both of them having a singles run individually where, most of the time we look at tag teams, it's one person or the other, right? Like you have one person. We talked about this last night watching SmackDown. Like you have Montez from the Street Profits that, like, if they break up the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins is going to get lost in the sauce, right? Like you don't see him getting a run as a singles. I think you could see both Pillman and Griff getting some type of run as a singles guy. Eventually, just given Griff's size and where he's at age wise and everything else, they're both super young. So, Pillman still hasn't been wrestling that long. Like. No. I think it's 2 or 3 years. So
he didn't really come to get into it. Only really came to get into it once he started becoming friends with his father's friends, like Stone Cold. I remember whenever he was on Stone Cold's podcast and he was just talking about getting into it, like he was just starting to train a little bit.
Right.
I wasn't sure if this is what he wanted to do for sure, but
and at that time he was on MLW then too. So like it was super
real quick.
Yeah. So yeah, so that was the match. What it was. I don't know if anybody else got any other thoughts on them two. I do. MJF was shouting at the end of the match, "Somebody come stop me." Who do you think's next up for MJF? You had him go through Cody. You had him do Jericho. I mean, who else is there? Who's next for MJF?
I honestly don't know.
I do not know.
Because you need someone that can go with him on the mic, or at least have someone with that person to speak for them. And I don't know. I'll have to think about that.
All right. So then after that, I'm not sure if this was direct next match, but you had Sting and FTR. Sting and Darby against FTR.
This is the best I've seen Sting look.
Hey, all you people clamoring for Goldberg's old ass. Sting is what, 7 years older than Goldberg and looked 1,000 times better than Goldberg.
Wait a minute.
Absolutely.
Yeah, one good match and you taking shots? Come on.
When was the last time Goldberg had a good match? To be honest, what was the last time?
He went more than minutes this last time.
But it wasn't good.
Yeah. When was the last good match? I can probably say, well, when did he win the WCW title? 98?
98.
I enjoyed the last match.
You enjoyed him and Lashley?
I enjoyed it because he went more than 5 minutes.
Somehow you managed to get WWE talking here, but
you brought it up.
Well, I brought it up.
I'm trying to praise Sting, and you shitting on WWE.
No, I'm not shitting on WWE. I'm shitting on Goldberg's old ass because Sting is 7 years older and looked 1,000 times better.
You could have brought in Jericho. You could have said Jericho.
Sting looked really good. Really good. Again, the way that they've used Sting since he's come has been perfect. You can say what you want about him coming out all the time, whatever. But as far as like matches go and what he's done in the ring physicality wise, who he's been in there with and everything else, like I think they've maximized what you can get out of Sting each time he goes into the ring. Don't know how many more matches he's going to have, how much longer he's signed for, whatever the case may be. But like people automatically after that match were like, "Oh, give me Darby and Sting against the Lucha Brothers." I'm like, no. Don't need that.
Sting style.
No, don't need that at all.
And then you fought guys he can keep up with.
Yeah,
because of their style of wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Like FTR's ground and pound. You know?
Sting doesn't need to be taking the high flying moves.
Ray Phoenix's kick to the face.
you were in there with guys that understand tag team pro wrestling, and how to work a tag team match. You can argue who's the best tag team in the world, but as far as who does the little things the best for tag team wrestling, there's not a team better than FTR when it comes to little details in a tag team match. They play all the tricks in the book. I mean, they are the Brain Busters. They're the Heart Foundation. They're the Midnight Express. They're all the great tag teams of yesterday. They are them rolled up into a modern fashion, and they just get tag team wrestling. Yeah. They get how to cut off the ring. Like that, the spot where Darby was there and Dax and Cash both went around Darby and slid in front of Sting to catch Darby to stop him from making the tag. Like those are little things that you don't see in tag team wrestling that back in the day you would see teams do to keep the ring cut in half to stop your opponent from getting to make the tag. Like it's little things like that.
Hey, we see it all the time.
That's tag team 101 there.
We see it all the time.
When?
Every tag match, they're keeping the face from getting the tag. Every tag match. Don't.
Come on.
You could have brought up a better scenario than cutting off the ring. Every tag team cuts off the ring. Every heel tag team cuts off the ring. Give me a better.
They don't. No, they don't. Not the way that they did. Not the way that they did it on Wednesday night.
They split in front. It's no different from grabbing your foot. It's no different from running and knocking the other one off the apron. It's no different.
Your WWE cut off the ring version is not how like tag team wrestling.
Hey, Chris, you ready for our break?
Doesn't work. Doesn't work.
I think what Steve's trying to say is
You wax
they actually
poetic
put
about a ring cutoff that happens in every tag team match.
I think
Come
Steve's
on,
thing is that
man.
he thinks that it's like there's an art to it, and they get the art where
Exactly.
you can go through the motions, and every tag team goes through the motions, but actually
They
be
don't.
able to
Nobody. No
showcase
tag
it
team does it
properly.
better than them two.
Cutting off the ring.
The way that it's done, Jay. Yes, the tag team format is to eventually, at some point in time, stop the babyface from tagging his partner into the match. I get it, but the way that
because they slid around like a pick, one ran zone and the other ran a man blitz.
It's the way that they do it, Jay. They come up with a different way to do it in every single match. Go back to their run in NXT whenever they were having matches against American Alpha and DYI and everything else. Like they're the best at doing the little things in a tag team match that make you appreciate the match more.
Well, we'll say something other than cutting off the ring. Holding the tag rope. Okay. Something different. Don't say cutting off the ring. Happens in every damn tag match.
But nobody does it better than the way that they do it.
Oh my God. Hey, Sting looked real good in there, you know.
Put FTR in the ring against any tag team, and that match is automatically better.
Okay.
Am I wrong in that?
You could be right. You could be.
Watch the tag team match tomorrow night at Extreme Rules and tell me what's better.
I will tell you exactly when they cut off the ring. I'll take a picture for you and send it to you.
It's the way that it's done, Jay. It's not the fact that they did it. Everybody knows at some point it's going to be cut off, but it's the way that they do it every single time that makes it different.
Next match.
Preferably not tag.
Cody Malachi.
Let's go back and talk about the ring cut off.
Let's not. Let's move on.
Because they did a couple during the match that helped impact the story of the match. They don't just do a ring cutoff just to do a ring cutoff because it's a spot in a tag team match. They do it they do it in a way that it enhances the story of the match. It impacts the psychology of the match. There's not a team that does it better than them. And you can go back to their NXT run, you can go back at their WWE main roster run and what they've done in AEW. And there's not a team that does it better as far as how it impacts the psychology of the match. And that's for any other little detail that you want to talk about as far as tag team wrestling goes. The hidden tags behind the referee's back, the switching in and out, they do it in a way that's creative every single time. And it impacts how the match comes across and the story that's being told in the ring between the four individuals. That's my overall point, Jay. Not just the fact that it's a simple ring cutoff. Is that explanation better for you? Is that sufficient for you?
Which one I'll accept?
You screen grab something tomorrow night and send it in a group chat. We're going to be throwing fisticuffs on 4th Street in Old Braddock.
Fall under the bridge.
Cody and Malachi. Here's what I'll say, and this is going to get Jay worked up. Cody Rhodes is John Cena.
How? I just want to know how.
not a good wrestler, and that.
No, Cody Rhodes is the baby face that was the Uber baby face that everybody loved, that now everybody hates.
Does everybody hate him?
A lot of people.
That crowd, Chris.
And I love Cody Rhodes.
That crowd, it's been online for a while.
Yeah.
Like it's been online for a really long time. As far
It didn't
as
surprise me that the crowd booed him. I'll say that.
now, I know Arn Anderson was on Busted Open and Bully, and they were talking. Dave and them were interviewing Arn about it, and Arn's answer to me was he said and this kind of, I don't know if this is him playing off of the discontent between them two in the match, like outside after the ring apron bump. But he said Cody is Hollywood. And that's why he got the reaction he got. Cody's not focused on wrestling.
No.
He's not worried about winning the matches.
I don't think it's that.
So Cody is getting the hate that he's getting because he came in and started the company as the ultimate babyface who was bringing the alternative to WWE, who was bucking the system, who was saying, screw you guys, we're going to put on pro wrestling. And then you get the grand entrance every time you come out. You're too good to walk out of a tunnel, although your wife can come out of a tunnel and your coach can come out of a tunnel. You're doing game shows. You're doing
TV
movies.
shows.
You have your own reality TV show. You're doing all this other stuff except what got you over with the fans for that specific company and those specific types of fans. You're going completely the opposite direction of why they fell in love with you, which is why everybody's turning on you.
For me, I take the Hollywood out. Like I don't care if he does the Hollywood. It doesn't, change my opinion about him either way with the Hollywood. It's just like how he comes off in the matches.
He's Wednesday night. Wednesday night, I was tweeting out. I was saying this is going to be really interesting to see. One, if the boos continue for Cody. Mm-hmm. Two, was it only because he was wrestling Malachi and everybody is absolutely in love with Malachi because he was the WWE star that wasn't used, that everybody wanted pushed, that they wouldn't listen to. And three, like, he's come out in interviews and said he doesn't want to wrestle forever. He wants to get into other things. We've already seen his interest spray off since they started AEW, and we're not even, 3 years into the company. I mean, like, we're at the point now where it's like, let's go Cody. Cody sucks. Let's go Cody. Cody sucks.
That's true.
What's going to happen? It's Cena. It's AEW Cena.
We brought this up on the show before where you look on the Twitter feed and people are just bashing Cody, but the crowd that on TV is cheering him. So we for the first time, we actually got the crowd is interacting the way the people on Twitter are reacting. And it doesn't surprise me that it came in New York, for how passionate of fans that they are. So
that's why I'm curious
on where Cody goes next, like whether he goes in Rochester this upcoming week or is on the following week. What's the crowd going to react? Is the crowd going to follow the boos now, or are they going to go back to the normal cheer Cody for coming out, but Twitter's going to bash him?
So I say it's an interesting dynamic, and it's going to be interesting to see how Cody handles it and where they go character-wise.
I'll throw in something that I thought a couple weeks ago, because whenever Adam Cole came back, the BTE afterwards, and he was kind of talking like, "Hey, where's Hangman at? I want to go drinking with Hangman." They were like,
because he was dead for 4. Yeah, because he was dead for 4 years. He doesn't know all the happenings.
And then they were saying the same thing about Cody, and they go, "Well, do we have to tell them about Cody and Hangman?" And just like that was the first thing. It's like, well, if people are booing Cody and like don't like him, maybe Cody's the next one to join. Maybe they bring back the Super Elite, like add more to it, and they're all back together. I think that's where it might go.
I don't see Cody joining that backup. And the reason why I say that, because then you have three guys who all want the main prize. You have Omega, who's the champ. You have Cole, and you have Cody. And we already saw the Cody versus Omega, who's the leader of the Bullet Club / deal, play out while they were in ROH and in New Japan, and they had their ladder match and everything else. Like we saw them do that already. To me, Cody's not gonna join up another faction. Don't know where the Nightmare Family goes from here, but like I don't see him ever joining up another faction. I just think he's at a crossroads, no pun intended, of what are you going to do? Are you going to continue to try to be the uber babyface, the Captain America-esque? Although some people said he wasn't Captain America, he was who's the other
From the boys?
Yeah, that's who I see him as too.
Homelander.
Homelander, yeah, Homelander. That Mark Henry called him Homelander on Busted Open yesterday. But do you try to continue to run with that as being the face, or do you do the turn and go heel? I don't know, and it's going to be real interesting to see how it plays out. He hasn't wrestled a lot lately. He's going to have a tag match coming up on Wednesday night. Tony Khan on Busted Open announced it'll be him and Lee Johnson against Dante Martin and Matt Sydal. So that'll be on Dynamite.
For what?
Weird all face match.
That's
what for?
That's what I'm saying. Like, are we gonna
what for?
Are we gonna see the unraveling of Cody? Like, is this the Cody on the downturn from the high horse, being the knight in the white knight in shining armor that saved pro wrestling and brought an alternative, being up on that pedestal that he was held on. This is the crash, right? Everybody loves to tear the top guy down. We've seen it in pro wrestling time and time again. Like, every single babyface, minus maybe a handful, you've seen the audience turn on because it got to a point where it was like, we don't like you no more for whatever reasons, right? And it's like some adversity as far as booking goes for the first time. Like, how do you book Cody now? Because he's getting boos. He's getting that negative reaction.
For me personally, I was surprised he lost. I really was. And everybody knows how I feel about Cody, man. I'm surprised Brady didn't bring out a shovel just cause.
I'm glad he didn't. I was expecting him to win.
I was expecting
retribution, but I'm glad he didn't win.
What you guys are saying right there is the reason why people are booing him, because people think he just constantly wins and goes over. Cody, more than just about any other big time name, and you can argue Jericho probably the other one, has gotten more people over in AEW than anybody else.
It's like, I'm glad he got the people over, but it seems like on the biggest stage, he gets his win before they do. Like with what's the British dude name? Gosh, a Go-Go. A Go-Go. On the pay-per-view, he beat a Go-Go, but he gave him his win on Dynamite. That's
a Go-Go didn't deserve that win on pay-per-view.
But to me, I'm just saying, like with Cody, it just seems like that. It just seemed like his win comes at the bigger stage at the expense of a TV show.
Yeah. Like, I know Go-Go's out right now with an injury.
Yeah. I'm glad it didn't happen now. Hindsight.
But at the time, I thought the Go-Go should have won, just to put, if they were hyping him up to be one of the next big things in the company, he deserved the win more than Cody there.
But yeah, it's just, to me, that was the most interesting thing from this show, was the reaction to Cody and to see how it's going to play out moving forward. Because it was that online not hate, but that online dislike and discontent actually seeping over into a crowd. And yes, it was New York, but at the same time, like, If he would have been at All Out and wrestled in Chicago, do you think he would have got booed in Chicago?
I don't think.
What was the one where they had the fans behind him?
In Jacksonville?
Yeah, it kind of started there. Like the crowd was mixed there.
That was whenever he was going to announce his retirement and Malachi attacked him with the crutch. You talking about that night?
One of those.
Yeah.
I don't know how many they did up there, but yeah, I remember that one of those shows.
That's when Malachi first beat him.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Is it just because he's in the ring with Malachi?
No.
Or is this something that's going to carry over and it's going to be a continuation until we see what they decide to do with him from a booking standpoint and how his character is going to go?
I think we're just going to see how the crowd goes the next couple of weeks to see if
maybe they too were expecting Cody to win.
Maybe.
And that's why they booed him, because they were expecting him to get the win.
Possibly.
I don't know. To me, like, he got booed from the gate. As soon as his music hits, he got booed. The boos were way louder than the cheers as soon as his music hit. Yeah. And that's the first time that I noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
So I was like, oh, shit, they're booing him from the jump.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought whenever he returned, coming down through the crowd, I thought that was even, like, negative with no reaction. When Rosario attacked Malachi, like that, I thought that even was like, okay, this isn't the normal reaction for somebody that's coming back that was almost going to retire, who's your top baby face. Like, that didn't go over well as well. And that show was, I forget where they were at for that show. But that wasn't like
that was in Jersey.
It might have been Jersey. But yeah,
me, I think it's the focus on Cody. Like you said, the grand entrance, everything has to be Cody something. He has to give a speech after the match or before the match. It's like too much focus on this guy. And they're over it. And to me, he's an okay wrestler. Who doesn't deserve all this? Grandiose.
I mean, was there? I don't know what he was saying. Who doesn't what?
Say what?
You froze. I didn't hear what you said. You said he's an okay wrestler who what?
That doesn't deserve all this grandiose spotlight.
We'll see. Like I said, I think that the turn is because he's not presenting himself as the way that he was when he started the company. And it's like they see you, okay, why are you going off and filming the game shows? And why are you the one that's going off and taking TV roles? Like, all that stuff is you know, he's the only EVP to be doing that. He's really the only star in AEW that's done that. So it's like, okay, we see what you're doing, and it's not what we, as your core audience,
thought you was going to do.
Want from you. It's not what you told us you were going to do.
Okay, so does this this week they're launching Roads to the Top, the reality series about Cody and Brandy. Do you think people are going to tune in for this, or?
So reality TV shows, I don't take the viewing audience into account for those because you get so many people outside of wrestling that watch those. Like there's so many people that watch Ms. and Mrs. and nobody watches WWE, but because it's a reality TV show, they're going to watch it. It's the same as Total Bellas. Like, I don't count that audience as people. Will people who watch wrestling tune in? Probably, but I'm not going to go, oh, they only did X amount for Rhodes, so that means nobody from wrestling is watching it because I don't reality TV show. I count that as a completely different audience. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. I mean, if it flops, I think we'll know rather quickly if it's going to flop.
Yeah.
You know, but again, like you can't blame that solely on the wrestling audience not transferring over to watch it for it to flop. Mm-hmm. I think that flops more of the general audience. The general public doesn't tune in and watches that.
I think with this, you'll get more people turning over, more wrestling fans turning over.
because it's right on after Dynamite.
That and then like you see like all the promos, like all the wrestlers that are in it, makes you might want to see more of that aspect behind the scenes and all that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think
but that was Total Divas.
well, that was.
But that, I mean, that's not to sound like how you shouldn't have sounded in 2021, but like Total Divas was eye candy, right? Like it was put on because you had women who were good looking that were going to be in bikinis, partying and doing whatever like that, like.
And they put it on E, which is a channel that with a lot of other reality shows. So it's like
Keeping Up with the Kardashians, all that. Like that's a reality show channel. Like this is TNT's first foray into something like this that they don't normally do with their programming.
Like me, if I tune in to Miz and Morrison, I'm tuning in for Maurice, not to see him interact with Ziggler or whoever else he acts with. I tune in to Rhodes just to see the other guys and how he plays off with them.
And I'll be interested to see how this portrays Cody. Like how much do they get into the backstage stuff? How much do they get into, like, is this going to make people hate Cody even more? Or is this going to make people go, hey, this guy's catching way too much flack and he doesn't deserve to be booed right now? Like, which way is this going to – is it going to help or hurt him right now? Because to me, I think –
the perception hurts.
Well, that's what I'm saying. How's he going to be framed? Because right now I think people are just slowly hating on it because it's like, oh, you're doing all these things. Is that going to, is how he portrayed on this show make him turn around and win some people back over? I don't know, but it'll be interesting how it plays off. But that was my big takeaway from that match. We'll see. I think we'll get another matchup between them two because obviously with the mist, like to me, this wasn't a finale to it.
Yeah.
And that's when Cody goes over.
But does it matter?
It doesn't matter. Like
whenever you do a rubber match, that should be 1-1 to get there to see who really wins. When you have the person starting 2-0.
Yeah, it's already.
It doesn't matter. Like. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. All right. So then, I think the last segment then was Britt and Ruby main event.
I thought they delivered.
I thought they did too.
Yeah.
You had Britt with the shenanigans to pick up the W.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, I still don't like.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. It wasn't needed, but I can see kind of their thinking behind it with wanting to keep Ruby strong. The one thing that I don't like is I don't like the way Ruby's finisher looks. It doesn't look devastating enough.
Mm-mm.
Like it doesn't. The drop down Pele kick. It's kind of like Gail Kim's, but she modified it and added a Pele kick onto it.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of eat the feet, like she drops down with the opponent, but she does a Pele kick on top. Instead of just leaving her foot straight up.
Okay.
To me, it just doesn't look like a finisher, like something that will end the match. Can you hit it out of nowhere? Yeah, like you can get the surprise factor of it, but to me, it doesn't look devastating enough to be a finisher.
Need that camera cut.
And for her size, she needs something that might be able to destroy some of the other bigger girls in the company. Because there's a lot of women in that company that are bigger than her.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to need something to be able to take them down.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea behind it. It just doesn't look like it can be a finisher.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If that's the move that sets up, say like a submission finisher or something like that, then I'm cool with that. Like because you can play into it, you can hit it out of nowhere and then slap on the submission and go home. Like that'll work. But I mean them two. For the build-up that they had, the verbal jousting that they had, I thought they delivered. I thought it was a good spot to main event the women. Again, women main event in a Dynamite. And Britt's been the consistent factor in that. So say what you will about her and whatnot, but she's there. She's in the spot. Tony Khan, trusts her to produce in that spot, and the women that she's been in that spot with have all delivered. So I got no qualms about what they did on Wednesday night with that. Anything else?
No, I was happy with Dynamite. It was a good show.
Yep.
All right, Rampage last night. I didn't enjoy Rampage.
Was it because it was 2 hours or just in general?
Just
Me, I didn't like the 2 hours.
Okay.
I didn't mind the 2 hours. I didn't think like it seemed like it was long. I just didn't like I don't know. I just didn't like the show last night. The work wise, the 6-man tag is probably the best match on the card last night. It set up Adam Cole and Jungle Boy for Dynamite this week.
Yeah.
I really want to see them two go in the ring with each other. Cole was on Jericho's podcast, and Jungle Boy was one of the guys that he mentioned is who he wanted to work with. Amongst like Darby and MJF, Jungle Boy was up there on his list, and I said that as soon as Cole debuted, and they had the big square off at the pay-per-view. With the 5v5 staring it down all out, I was like, "Oh, give me Cole versus Jungle Boy."
Was that announced for this week?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'd rather. I don't know. I think that's a good match, and I'd rather see that for the pay-per-view next month in November. You got enough. You got just a little over a month.
True.
Yeah. So that was the best match of the night. The 8-man tag was what it was. Good guys going over. The bigger story there is going to be the eventual face-off between Lucha Brothers and Santana and Ortiz. I could have completely did without Jericho, Hager, Scorpio Sky, and Ethan Page.
Yeah.
No knock to the 4 of those guys, but I just didn't need it. And then the beatdown afterwards with America Top Team and Jorge Masvidal giving Jericho a knee and Paige Van Zant working.
And where'd that go? And where'd that go now?
I just didn't need it. The lights out match was what it was. But it wasn't something that I thought was overly violent to where it needed to be lights out. I mean, it was a good match for the 4 guys being in it.
For the 4 people, I expected better though.
I was expecting a little bit more violence than what I got out of it.
I'm still mad I didn't watch this show.
Man, I know what those 4 do all the time, like the street fights and everything. But like I keep saying before on previous shows, enough with the street fights.
You got the debut of Homicide coming in,
which he got a pop, but
it's a New York crowd. I get it.
I didn't even know who that was.
He was LAX in TNA.
Okay.
Yeah, he's New York crowd. New York indie wrestling legend. Has been around. So I don't know if it was just a one-off just to pop the crowd there, or if he's going to be coming in and doing something for a little bit. We'll see. We'll see with that because there's tie-ins with Eddie. There's tie-ins with Santana and Ortiz. So there's different stuff that you can do based off of history that he's had with people in the company.
I had to laugh last night because as soon as he came in, they go, "That's Eddie Kingston's best friend." I'm sitting there going, "I was like, wasn't that Penta Brothers? Yeah, Penta, yeah. Wasn't that the whole gimmick? This is my best friend." And now he's with Moxley, so I mean, that'd be his best friend now.
Now, can we circle back to Lucha Brothers and Pride and Punishment? Pride and Powerful. Is that their next opponent?
No, they haven't said that yet. I'm curious to see where it's going to go because right now they're building we respect each other. We're friends. We came in to help you out. You know, I don't know how it's going to turn into them. I want to see them go, but I don't want it just for a one-off, like just for one match. Like I want to see those two teams have a feud and have a couple matches, because the matches that they've had in the past have been insane together.
Like to me, Santana and Ortiz are next in line. Need to be next in line with the belts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
I agree with that.
But I don't want that match to happen like the next feud. Like give them some in between and then
build it up
back to where they take the belts off of Lucha Brothers.
Okay, so Lucha Brothers just got it in August or
Yeah.
early September. So where would you? I mean, Full Gear I think would be too soon to take the belts off of Lucha Brothers. Where would you put it?
It would either have to be in January or Double or Nothing.
Okay. I think Double or Nothing would be good enough of a reign for them.
Yeah.
Oh, but you want a story behind it?
No, it's just I don't want the belts coming off
Lucha Bros that fast.
that soon.
Yeah.
But I don't want them beating Santana and Ortiz.
Yeah, serious. Yeah. To drop them down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there with that. So yeah, we'll see. That to me, that's like the most that's the feud that I want, but I want it to be an actual feud. Just don't give it to me one time and that be the end of it. And then somebody else, and then somebody else come in. Like build that. If they have 2 or 3 matches between them two, I'm good with that. Like because of the quality of the matches that they deliver. I mean, they, you know, those 4 can go with each other in the ring, sometimes to each other's detriment, because there's been a couple of matches where like Phoenix almost died. Go look at their ladder match in Impact. Phoenix like damn near broke his neck. But yeah, those four are magic in the ring together. So definitely want to see that. Then you had the Dark Order stuff again. I'm fine with the story being told with Anna Jay and Penelope and the Bunny and Ty Conti. It's an undercard feud. It's a good story. You're getting more women involved. Like I like that. The fact that like and I think this is one of the reasons why I didn't like last night's show, because well, yes, it furthered storylines, but it didn't do it in a way that made sense. So you had during the 8-man tag, you had Matt Hardy hold up Ortiz's hair like he was going to cut it off with scissors, because he's been going with this whole hair versus hair match type deal. Orange Cassidy comes out just randomly by himself, takes off his jacket. Jack Evans hops up on the ramp. Orange hits him with a super punch. Hardy doesn't cut off Ortiz's hair, and he picks up Jack Evans and walks to the back. So then, fast forward to the women's match. You have Anna Jay and Penelope go at it. Penelope wins with the brass knucks again, continuing the storyline. Great, okay. The Bunny and Penelope start beating her down. Ty Conti comes out for the save. She gets beat down. Next thing you know, the whole Hardy family office come out, and they line the ring apron. They stand there on the rope to not let anybody come out to interrupt the beatdown. You have Orange Cassidy and Statlander come out, and then you have Dark Order come out, and then they rush the ring, chase the bad guys away. You have Dark Order versus Dark Order standing against Dark Order because of the internal story they've been telling about them splitting and not wanting nothing to do with each other from the Hangman debacle. Alex Reynolds puts out his hand for for Evil Uno to shake, and Evil Uno thinks about it, and then turns around and leaves the ring. And that's how the segment ended. Like what? Like I don't. Why? Like why is all that being done?
Is Rampage becoming the HFL show? It's very Hardy
influenced.
Yeah, I know. Last week there was like 3 matches with the Hardy family.
Like I just don't like
it don't
to
make
me
sense.
You're placing stuff in to tell storylines for other matches during matches that those storylines don't have nothing to do with the match. Like it makes 0 sense at all.
That's what they were doing early on. They kind of got away from it, but
with these particular individuals, like,
Mhm.
and then it came out that Hardy had an interview backstage with Shivani, and he was pissed off because of the way the night went with everybody losing in the Hardy family office, and Orange Cassidy sticking his nose in the business again, and he wants Orange in a hair versus hair match, and it's going to be Orange Cassidy's hair against Jack Evans' hair. So it's not even Hardy in the match. Put Jack Evans in the match. So again, like,
Wouldn't you have
what
to
is he
have
doing?
hair to have a hair versus hair match?
Well, I mean, Orange doesn't have long hair, but he
got
does
this-
have hair. But again, it's like,
it's
why,
weird. It's too many.
Like, why
Like
are
Steve said, too many people, too convoluted. Makes no
why are
sense.
why are you having this hair versus hair match, and you're not even the one stepping up to wrestle in the match? You're putting Jack Evans out there.
And you're the one who got problems with Orange.
Yeah, like the HFO needs to go.
Yeah. I haven't been interested in any of their stories for a while.
Jobber stable.
Hardy can go.
Jobber stable.
You know my stance.
This version of Matt Hardy can go. I don't like anything that he's done with this. Initially, I liked it whenever it was just him and Private Party, and he was, you know, trying to recruit Hangman, and the pitch of being like the shiesty promoter taking advantage of young talent, having them sign contracts and everything else. Like, that was good, but they've done nothing to elevate it, and it's just turned into, oh, I have a stable of people for no reason at all, and it doesn't work. The stable doesn't work.
It's an odd bunch of people too.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. Like
Private Party and the Butcher and the Blade, like, and Private Party became jobbers.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was
They
high
should have
on
been in the
them.
title picture way more than what they are.
Ooh.
When Top Flight came in,
yeah. So I mean, Rampage, like I said, I didn't mind 2 hours. Do I need 2 hours of Rampage every week? No. If they're giving me a special from time to time and it's an extra hour added on, I'm okay with it. But just the last night, and you know, one of the big things I saw, Will Hobbs almost died last night. Did you see the spot with him and Punk off the top rope?
Mm-mm.
No, I don't remember that.
I don't remember.
So Hobbs was on the top turnbuckle. He had Punk up for like a power bomb. Like Punk did the whole drop down part, you know what I mean, where Hobbs is just holding by his legs and whatnot. And he went to pick him up to do a power bomb, and Punk reversed it into a Hurricane Rana. And when Hobbs went to flip, he did a head dive straight into the mat. Head went straight into the mat. He didn't rotate over at all. And I thought he broke his neck on the spot. I don't know if there's going to be something coming out with him being injured moving forward from it, but it did not look good. And they finished the match. They finished the match, but like, he's 270 pounds. He doesn't need to be doing those
on the top rope. No.
I get you're young and athletic and everything else, but stick to the ground game and pound people. Don't need to be up there. That's like
powerhouse.
That's like Lesnar when Lesnar first came in. You don't need to be doing shooting star presses at 285 pounds and almost broke your neck against Angle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the same to me. That was the same correlation. I saw that and I'm like, yo, this is Lesnar all over again. Like, why is he even doing this spot? Because it's awkward. You know, Punk hasn't been in the ring a lot, so he hasn't delivered that move a lot. Like, there's just too many X factors into pulling off that type of move. That's a very dangerous move for those two individuals at that point in time, in how late they were in the match and everything else, being sweaty. Like, there was too many things going in that could have made it go completely wrong. And by the grace of God, they got away with one, because that was one of the worst bumps I've seen in AEW. And some people have taken some bad bumps. That was one of the worst, if not the worst. So yeah, like, if you got it, go back and watch it and look at it, because it was not good. And I don't know how he finished the match or was able to walk to the back.
I get Ricky Starks is kind of the focus in Team Taz right now, but we need to, if Hobbs is okay out of this, they need to do more with Hobbs. because he's so one-dimensional.
Hobbs by himself. I think he needs that.
It's like,
Because I think it's weird.
He looked good. He looked good in the match with Punk. Like it was, you know what I mean? He didn't look like out of place. Like there were some nice transitions. Like he looked good given how green he is and everything else. That was the one bad spot. But again, you know, with Cage being out, but you know, Ricky's neck, like still don't know
how good.
How, like, yes, he was supposedly cleared to get back in the ring, but I think this is only buying more time for him, which is a good thing because it's letting his neck heal up even more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they're gonna. They showed
do more with him. Don't have him come out and just give that same smirk every time. That's all he does. It's like even in the match, like every time like he did something, then would pause, he'd look at the camera, give the smirk. It's like add more to this kid. Like he can do more. And he
who, Hobbs or Starks?
Hobbs.
You got more out of Hobbs last night.
I still didn't get enough out of him. I think there's more to have, and
yeah, but you can't rush it though. I mean,
I'm not saying to rush it, but you can do more than what he does right now. With it, and it's not hot shotting him.
It just seems like Team Taz is just your is like the face's first stable to run through. Because Darby did it, Christian did it, Punk's about to do it, Hangman did it. It's just like what you doing with the stable.
We'll see.
Get ran through again. You get ran through again.
So I mean, overall, like, you know, it was a good showing. But yeah, I was much less impressed with Rampage last night than I was with Dynamite on Wednesday. Didn't care for the show too much last night. Workers went out there, busted their ass like they always do, but there was just more stuff going on in the show that I just didn't really care for.
We'll get back to some normalcy next week.
It felt like the second show.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say that. It just like I don't know. It was just off last night for me. It's just not off. Let's see here. New Japan, the G1's going on right now. Naito suffered a knee injury and had to withdraw. So I don't know what the plans were for him as far as how far he was going to go in the tournament. Big picture, you know, if he was going to make it to the finals of his block or whatever the case may be. So, that's, you know, sucks for him. But I think the more interesting story that's being told with the G1 is what's going on with Tama Tonga and the Bullet Club. And Tama Tonga came out, you know, after his match yesterday, threw some shots at Jay White and said, you know, I'm here. People are asking why is Tama Tonga in the G1? It's because I'm here. It's because other people aren't here. Jay White, where you at? Why aren't you here? To me, if you're not here defending the crown and wanting to sit on the throne, then it's open season and I'm coming for it. And I'm like, okay. Then they had a little back and forth on Twitter, going back and forth. So, like, you know, I like the story that they're telling with the Bullet Club right now. You do have a lot of people over here in the States working right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just because of COVID reasoning, you know, trying to build up the audience for New Japan Strong on Fridays. Like, I don't know what the case is or the reasoning behind it, but it's leading to some good storytelling on the back end. And Tama Tonga, you know, I need Gorillas of Destiny to come through the Forbidden Door, have some of the dream matches that I want them to have, because what they do and how physical they are, I don't think they get enough love as a tag team overall because they're always based in Japan. Tama Tonga on the mic is tremendous. Like, But if I'm gonna get this story, if I'm gonna get this story within the overall story, so the story of the Bullet Club being told throughout the story of the G1 tournament, then that's nice layering of stories and giving me stuff to look forward to for Wrestle Kingdom. And we'll see how it plays out.
And that's what I was going to say. This is always the time when you start to see the stories develop for Wrestle Kingdom. So we'll see where this goes.
They're sparking it off good. It was good there. But yeah, it was really good interview by Tom and Tonga, about a minute and a half long after his match. And I know AEW does the media scrums after pay-per-views, and they took that from New Japan when New Japan does it. But there's just something watching those clips from New Japan shows. Nobody does it better than New Japan. What the wrestlers portray and what they come across with and everything else, like it works so good over there. And maybe AEW can take it and develop it and make it into something else. I didn't watch the media scrum after All Out, so I don't know how it came across from a presentation wise. But yeah, to me, that's New Japan has that on locks, and they do really good stuff with it. And then MLW had an announcement with Cesar Duran, aka formerly known as Dario Cueto, making his announcement for the La Nueva era. We're getting more of the spinoff from Lucha Underground type deal storytelling with MLW. So we'll see how that shakes out, because I know he came back, Chris, when we watched the Battle Riot. He kicked off the show and said that he's the head matchmaker and everything else in MLW now. And MLW got the new show Alpha that just started this past week, so you can go on YouTube and catch up on that still. Good matchups this week from that show as well. Good wrestling on that show, so good stuff there. Impact continues to roll. Josh Alexander stepping up for Christian Cage. That'll be Bound for Glory. Called that. I think we touched on that last week.
Yep. That'll be a good match. Hopefully that's whenever we see Josh Alexander take the title.
Yes.
Yep.
And they also announced this week Deonna Purrazzo versus Mickie James for Bound for Glory. That'll be a good match too. Yeah,
Mickie came out and cut a good promo this week. Good face-to-face interaction. They've been building to this for a while, so this is good storytelling with that as well. And then Dark Side of the Ring. I know we had the fallout from the plane ride from hell, and that's been talked about. We touched on it briefly last week without going into too many details, but we talked about knowing your audience and everything else. Well, apparently after the Canyon episode this week, did you guys watch the Canyon episode?
I did, yeah.
I didn't watch it fully, but I recapped on stuff with it.
I forgot how good Canyon was in the ring, and like how much of an innovator he was, and how much his style and his moves and everything else are used in today's pro wrestling.
I didn't know that he was Mortis.
I did not know that either.
Honestly, for a long time, I thought that was Adam Bomb.
I did too.
But apparently people have come out and want to cancel John Cena based off of the comments that Cena made about Canyon on the Howard Stern show from whatever 2006 or whatever it was, whenever that interview took place. And I watched it, and then I went back and watched what's like that's part particular, and to me, like I didn't think Cena said anything in that interview that would deserve him to be quote unquote canceled. Like he just said he wasn't good enough. Like take that for what you will. I don't think he didn't. I don't think he didn't come off as like homophobic or insensitive or bad. Like none of that. It was just, hey, he's not good enough. So like, take that for what you will. But again, like it's something that somebody said 14, 15 years ago that you're trying to cancel. So yeah, but these Dark Side of the Rings, man, Jay, they're
starting to come around.
starting to catch up with talent in real life. Now, the next couple that are on the slate, I don't think will have any impacts. With with current people. Next week we get the FMW, which is going to be insane to watch. Like they showed a little snippet of that at the end of the show, and that's going to be insane. The Luna Vachon one, maybe the steroid trial one might see how that one plays out to wrap up season 3. But
are they gonna have you know who on there? Is he gonna be on there?
I don't know. I don't know if the brother is going to show up. I don't need.
I bet he's the only one around.
I don't need any more of the brother showing up on our side of the ring. First part of season 3.
Well, anything to come out of his mouth is
So, all right. Went long there with talking wise. I didn't realize we're an hour and 40 into the pod. So let's get into drinks. Chug, 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 chug. So this week's drink of the week is brought to you by, again, my niece turning 21 and to me doing a bar crawl later on today. Hopefully I'm in good shape. Might be a little Gatorade and Pedialyte breakfast for me tomorrow morning to rehydrate and get the electrolytes back in the system. We're back on Jay's pick again with his multi-variety pack that he had. We had the lemonade one a couple weeks ago. Today we're doing the Tipsy Punch by Great South Bay. Again, 5% alcohol. Can, again, looks great, but we'll see taste-wise. The lemonade shocked us and surprised us. But as I told you last night, if I get the hint of Hawaiian Punch in this.
It doesn't smell like it.
It smells like Arbor Mist a little bit.
It kind of looks like cranberry juice more than a fruit punch.
I smell like red red fruit punch Gatorade is what I'm smelling out of this can. Oh, yep, nope. Put that down. No. No.
To me, it's another drinkable one that you can't really tell there's alcohol in it.
I taste the metal from the can and like very bad fruit punch.
Yeah.
It's not like it's definitely not like the lemonade. Lemonade tasted like lemonade.
Yeah, the lemonade was much better.
No. Oh, look, I got the goosebumps. Because I got the nope.
I think
you did that to yourself.
Like cranberry. I think this tastes like cranberry vodka.
No, that did it to me because that brought back bad memories. Nope, that's not.
How did you give him mixing trash?
That's what I get for trusting you to pick a beer to make me drink. That was god awful. Well, that's a negative one for me.
This is something kid. No. Never mind. I give it a 4.
4? What'd you give the lemonade?
I think Jay gave the lemonade a 5.
It should have been. Possibly. I drink these over and over.
I would drink the lemonade over and over again. I wouldn't drink this one over and over. It's drinkable for me. Is it good? No.
Just because it's drinkable, I'm not an alcohol drinker, so just because it's drinkable, yeah.
This is the first drink in a week where I'm literally gonna dump and waste an entire beer. I have yet to do that on this podcast, and we've had some beers that I haven't liked, but I've finished them. I told one sip. I will be dumping the rest of it down the drain.
I'll give it a 1.5.
Wow,
I give it a 2.
Those are harsh.
I give it a 2.
No, shout out to everybody.
So much better.
No, the lemonade was a lot better.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody on social media that watched and interacted with the Blithering Idiot post from last week. So again, keep the recommendations coming. Well, if we can find them, we'll definitely drink them from that standpoint. But yeah, no, I'm this is a hard pass for me.
I made you 1-1 now.
This is good.
I made your third one's gonna cost you your
the tea.
The tea is it.
I'm interested with the tea. I wasn't at all, but the lemonade kind of. I drink the lemonade over this, but this is still good to me.
I'm so disgusted right now. I don't even want to do the cheers to wrap up the segment.
You did that. You shouldn't mix Hawaiian punch with anything. Broke ass juice.
This was like metal Gatorade fruit punch that was out in the sun, and then somebody decided to put it in the refrigerator.
You do taste the aluminum.
I do hate canned
You do
juice.
taste the
That's the
aluminum.
one thing I
You
do hate. If it was in the bottle, it'd be a little better.
Yeah, I'm not cheersing to nothing. You guys can hold it.
Good chips and wood chips, or wood chips and chips instead of seeds, to friendships and dealerships. Man, friends will always be. Salute.
Fucking botched toast. Dealerships.
There was no comeback from that. Dealerships and championships.
Sounds like you should open up your own used car sales lot, Joe.
Happy Corbin used cars.
All right. This week in sports, again, full slate of college and NFL games. Pitt, thankfully, after losing to freaking Western Michigan last week, they're up 28-0 on New Hampshire right now. So it looks like they're going to be able to do what they normally do. Some of the bigger games on the slate today: Notre Dame, Wisconsin's on right now. Wisconsin's up 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
Texas A&M and Arkansas is a good game at 3:30. That's number 7 versus 16. Other than that, not too many, Kansas State, Oklahoma State are 2-3-0 teams, even though Oklahoma State's not ranked. Tennessee and Florida, Donald, your boys will probably get buried today.
Yeah, they probably will. I mean, they always lose to Florida, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Is it regular Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The Gators.
Okay. I might got to log on to Facebook after this one.
Yeah.
Of course,
the primetime game tonight on ABC is Oklahoma against West Virginia. It's not a good slate of matchups wise this week in college football. So, tune in if you want to, but nothing's like must see watch game wise. I think the Pitt's just about to give up like a 60-yard touchdown run right now to New Hampshire. It's unbelievable. All right, with that, so let's get into NFL. Steelers 1-1 lose to the Raiders last week. We called it on this podcast because it's the Raiders, and the Steelers always lose to the Raiders.
I'll take the L for it because I actually watched the game. So,
well, I mean, listen, they were already put behind the 8 ball coming into the game. You had Devin Bush and Joe Hayden out.
Mm-hmm.
Then Tyson Alualu fractures his ankle.
Gone.
TJ Watt goes out with a groin. So your defense, which needed to carry you, is down 4 starters. That I don't care how good of a defense you have, and yes, they're all it's all NFL players, but if you're down 4 starters on your defense, it's not going to be a good day. But yet they still had a chance to win it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were down
till those two went out.
They were down 2 points, going into the fourth quarter, 16-14, and then Carr hits the bomb to Ruggs. I don't know why you're the D-back in that situation. It's 3rd and 10. I don't know why the guy runs a 4.240. Why are you not playing off as much as possible? You got to know down the distance and everything else. And Minka got to be aware. Like he got caught up he got caught up worried about Waller coming across the middle on the crossing route. Like, you got to know, hey, I can't let nobody get behind me. Mm-hmm. That was it. They threw that touchdown pass and game over.
Because that offense wasn't going to come back for anything. That O-line looks so bad.
O-line is rough, really rough. I know it's 2 rookies, 5 new starters overall. You had Trey Turner get tossed out of the game because of spitting on another player. Just not a good look across the board from the Steelers on Sunday. However, like if you look record wise, would they be 1-1 going into Green Bay or going into Cincinnati? I think most people would have said yes, but they would have had the wins and losses flip flop. They would have had them losing to Buffalo and beating the Raiders.
Yeah.
So you're still 1-1. This game right now, tomorrow's game is going to be indicative on your season.
Yes, it is already.
Because you lose this game, the next 3 games you can go 0-3 real quick, based off of who they're playing. They have Green Bay, then Green Bay, Seattle, and I forget who else. But it's 3 in Cleveland, I think, is in there. But those 3 games, like you can easily go 0-3 down that stretch, and now you're looking at you're 1-4, and that's not a hole that you're going to be able to come back from. So, like I said, it's gonna be a long year for the Steelers. Hopefully next year they sink some money into the O-line. But yeah, it's not. If you went into this year expecting big things, I know Jay, you picked them to win the division, but just not gonna be good year from that aspect. Other than that, some great games last weekend. Baltimore, Kansas City Sunday night was tremendous. A lot of good finishes there. Dallas and the Chargers was a good game. Came down to the wire. A lot of good football being played. But yeah, we'll see what the Steelers do tomorrow against the Bengals. Hopefully they pick up a win. I know Hayden's going to be back. I know Bush is back. Watt's still up in the air. Highsmith, I don't know. Deontay Johnson, I don't know. So
is Ben playing?
Ben practiced and he'll play. He'll wear the quote unquote Superman cape. Oh, I have a hurt pec, but I'll throw over 300 yards and I did it all myself. Like that's what Ben does. It's the story of his career. So yeah, there's that.
They said Peyton Eli was the highest watch alternative to Monday Night Football.
They did. Their audience from week 1 to week 2 jumped up 139%. Wow. They had over 800,000 watch it week 1, and they were up. I think they were at like 1.9 million this week. 1.7.
So, what would they consider an alternative? Just an alternative channel to the main?
Yeah, alternative channel to the main. Yeah. So like this week they had Brett Favre on, they had Gronk on, they had Pat McAfee on in the fourth quarter. McAfee was great because McAfee not only could McAfee talk, but McAfee was also asking them questions and interviewing them. The Favre was a little bit, Gronk was a little bit, because like it's an internet show like this, right? It's streaming, so like we talk over each other from time to time, just like they talk over each other. So like people are waiting to go or waiting to say something, and it's not, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't come off well. Pat, because he does a YouTube channel every single day, like he went in, said what he said, stopped, let them talk, came back with a question, told some stories. Like it was, the 3 of them were good. And also because Pat knows Peyton, he played with Peyton, like, you know what I mean? So like there was chemistry already between the 3 of them. But yeah, those like I said, dude, watching them 2 break down football and talk about it don't get much better than that. Like they were literally breaking down the game plan as the game was going on, and like we're saying, this is what Detroit's doing, this is the reason why they're doing it. Will Aaron be able to stay patient and just run the offense and take what he's given this entire game? And the long bomb he hit to Devontae on the out and up, Peyton's like, they're in man. Why are they in man coverage right now? Why are they get out of man? Check out of this. And next thing you know, he hits this long bomb to Devontae Adams because they changed up what they were doing. Like, and what was crazy is after the game, Aaron said the same thing that Peyton and Eli were saying during the game. Like they were playing they were playing too high shell, this, that, and the other. Like, this is what we were doing. This is what we were seeing. We were taking what they were giving us. Like, it was the same thing that Peyton and Eli were breaking down during the game. It was the same thing that Roger said. So, like, just hearing those minds talk football is unbelievable. Like, I'm mad they're only doing 8 games.
Yeah.
Like, and Peyton said, because Pat asked him, like, he's like, are you playing quarterback for both teams? Are you watching, hours and hours on film and breaking both game plans down and scheme down and everything else from both teams and both sides of the ball and everything else? And Peyton's like, yeah, like, I only have one way to prepare, and this is what I do. Like, it's a lot more work than what I was intending it to be, but that's the only way I know how to prepare. Like, he goes, this is what makes me feel like I'm back in the game again. Because I'm watching the film, I'm breaking it down, I'm looking at the scheme, I'm breaking the pre-snap motion, the alignment, trying to see who's going where. Like, it's just tremendous.
It's keeping that fire for him. That's what it is.
So are they going to be on every other week pretty much? Is that going to be their
I don't know what games they have as far as the broadcast goes. I know they're doing 8 games, but I don't know if the list came out as far as, like, I don't think it's just going to be the first 8 games of the year and that'll be it. Like, I have
no
idea
think next week
how they have them staggered out, but yeah,
if they do that Monday night playoff game,
can we talk about that? Because I was going to bring this up. Like, why tinker with that? Why do
I don't like that.
No need to.
So you had, last year, like, they added the extra game, and then you had the all day slate, and it just made it, like, it was tremendous. Like, it was football from open to close. Like, it was playoff football. It was fantastic. Why break it up to where you have 3 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday, 1 game Monday? Because it's strictly the money, right? It got to be strictly money.
And that gives that team
a short more rights.
And that gives that team who won a short week.
Right. So what are you going to do if you're playing a Monday night game?
You got to play Saturday. If you play Saturday,
yeah. Do you play Saturday? Do you play Sunday? Like, are they automatically going to put the 2 lowest seeds in that Monday night game? It's kind of like, like a NBA play-in type deal where you get the short end of the straw because you didn't, like, make it. You're the last 2 wildcard teams, so you're playing on Monday, so you have even more of a disadvantage going against the number 1 seed who gets the bye, because there's only 1 bye this year.
But is it just that wildcard round?
Just the wild card round, yeah. They're tinkering with it. They haven't said that it's definitive yet, but I don't like the idea of it.
No need to.
Yeah, just keep the, like you said last year, 3 Saturday, 3 Sunday, perfect.
Yeah, don't need to do split it up 3, 2, and 1. Like, but we'll see if that comes out more to that from that end of things. But yeah, other than that, I didn't really have too much in sports. I didn't pay close attention to really anything else outside of NFL and college football. I know Penguins start training camp this week. Rookies, I think, reported last week, right?
Yeah, and then they announced this week that Malkin's going to be out for 2 months for knee surgery. So you have Crosby out, for 6 to 8 weeks probably for his wrist surgery, and then Malkin out for at least 2 months for a knee surgery.
Yeah,
so a rough start to the Penguins.
The Penguins are not going to do anything this year. So if you want to get cheap tickets and go down and watch a Pens game, there you go.
Hey, maybe
that's about the only bright spot.
This first half I don't think it's going to be much to watch.
That's going to be too much of it's going to be too hard to come back over 2 months.
No.
If you have both of those guys out for 2 months, you're going to put yourself too far behind the 8 ball to come back. And even when they do come back, you don't know how good they're going to come back.
And they're probably going to come back roughly a month apart, the way it looks to be falling. So it's like one's going to come in, have to transition a certain way, then the other one's going to come back in, and then that's going to could possibly mess with the transitions of, like, the lines that were already executed. So
yeah, just not good. The Pirates here, I'm holding off on giving a stat until the final 10 or 11 games are done for the year. I think they needed to go 6-5 over these last 11 to finish at 100 losses or at 99. Don't know if they're going to do it, but there's a stat if it holds up over these last two or three series here. Donald, that as a baseball guy, you'll go, how is this even possible?
But hey, with them, boy, they break boundaries, boy. When I think the losing can't get any better, any worse, it gets worse.
Better in your
That's
case. Better in your case.
That's a little future tease here for the end of the baseball season, as far as stats go. So, yeah, that's all I had in sports.
I just had what is it? John Jones got arrested again for domestic abuse. I don't know if it's number 3 or number 4, but he'll get a title shot next week.
Ain't you supposed to be boxing somebody?
I think he's done.
I don't know.
I think he's done.
Who knows?
I don't think Dana's gonna pull back into that well again. He did it a couple times.
Yes, he did it too many times for him.
Is he 40?
He's in his 30s.
30s?
Him and Chandler Jones are only a couple years apart. They're brothers, and I know Chandler's in his 30s.
Someone will go that well then.
Oh, that Chandler Jones. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're brothers. Yeah.
Yep.
So John Jones is older than Chandler, but not by much.
Okay.
I think. Yeah. I think Jones is older. Yeah. Bones is older. But
that's all I had.
All right. That's all for sports. 2-0 on a fantasy tip. Fantasy football wise, put up the most points in the league last week. So off to a hot start. Hopefully that matchups continue that way. Make some cash moolah at the end of the year. Keep that going. So yeah. Any way to make a buck.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into world famous, world renowned. This is Jason's pick this week, so I know it's trash. I gotta go.
Before we get into Jason's pick for the week, coming off of last week's soap operas, it was another tight race, but the fans picked All My Children Gotta Go.
Yep.
Huh.
That was
you heard right. Oh, you heard right. You heard right. And I got ripped and last week I got ripped a new one.
Susan Lucci can win, can't she?
I bet because one of my friends is an All My Children's fan, and I got ripped a new one about that.
Yeah. Good interaction. Good interaction on the socials with the soap opera edition of One Gotta Go. I thought people were going to trash us for being 4 guys talking soap operas, but no, there was a lot of interaction, a lot of feedback and voting. So thanks to everybody that joined in and played along. A
little update. I tuned in this week. Marlena's possessed again.
Nice.
All right, Jason, if you want to set this up.
Yes, this is a candy edition.
Wait, time out. You lazy son of a bitch.
What is this?
Is this the actual One Gotta Go? This is not the actual One Gotta Go. Where's the real one? This isn't this week's choices, right? This is not what we're doing here. Put up the real graphic.
You got 2 options, man. Go.
Put up the real one.
Which one gotta go? Left or right click?
That's
left.
Really what you came with?
Left.
They're both the same thing.
Left.
No, wait. Why are we even talking about this?
Oh gosh.
This one is social media apps, which I know I'm gonna probably be the lone one on this one, but you guys wanna? You have between Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter, and me personally, I'm on Facebook all the time, and you know I can't get Instagram.
Because you got stake in it, right?
For reasons. And between Twitter and TikTok, Twitter has to go. It's toxic ass Twitter. I can't.
I'll go next.
I know that's Steve's.
I have Facebook and I have Instagram. I don't have TikTok or Twitter, but I'm tired of seeing people share TikTok videos. That shit is so annoying. TikTok got to go.
Look, that's all my family does in the group chat. Even my mom sends TikTok. So
I hate TikTok.
It's bringing my family back together. No, we were already together, but we just have fun sharing TikTok. So
that's the point of social media, right?
Yeah.
That left Twix, right Twix was about to tear this family apart.
Yeah, so any of these can go.
Any of them?
The only one that I somewhat enjoy is Instagram, but like pretty much I hate social media. I'm on TikTok now, but it's so.
Oh, are you doing the Applebee's dance on TikTok? Where's that TikTok at? Huh?
Yeah, follow my channel. I do so much on there. I've just been using it just to watch videos. I mean, some of them are entertaining, but for the most part, I think TikTok's completely pointless. So I'll get rid of TikTok.
As far as like the definition of social media goes, from like what I think social media to be, I don't consider TikTok like social media platform. Like to me, it's more like Vine and YouTube and that, like where you're just uploading videos. But you
could have put Snapchat on there.
Snapchat is just for dick pics and no.
Or you could even went old school and put MySpace on there.
But it's defunct. Yeah. I was thinking Reddit, but Reddit is kind of different.
Yeah, Reddit's a little different.
TikTok is the rage, and you can get that interaction in there. It's just
I'm on 3 of the 4. The only one I'm not on is TikTok. I know it's the rage. It's what the younger generation's doing. Like Jay, like you said, that's all your family's doing. So from that standpoint, yeah, it's there. To me, like I just don't think of TikTok as being social media. But yeah, for me, just because I don't have it and don't use it, and my daughter, I refuse to let her get on it. I'm gonna go with TikTok.
Good call.
Look, as long as you ain't TikToking, it's cool. Just be on it.
Watch TikTok, you don't stop. Let's say the TikTok, you don't stop.
Toxic ass Twitter.
They're all toxic.
They are.
They're all toxic.
I can't believe you tried to pull the Fugazi on me like you did with Donald with the movie clip. You throw up left Twix, right Twix. I almost punted my laptop.
I was like,
I was about to drive up. I was getting in the car driving over to Democratic. This lazy son of a bitch. This lazy son of a bitch who's worried about getting Pop-Tart crumbs all over the goddamn place. Throws up left Twix and right Twix. Like it was there was going to be issues with it.
Hold on, I gotta pull it up. The text from Jason.
Hey, can we do this to get Steve riled up?
He texted me, one gotta go, left Twix, right Twix, just to get a reaction out of Steve.
At first, I tried to no sell it like Kenny Omega. I tried to no sell it. I wasn't going to say anything, but I couldn't resist.
I had this plan like a month ago. The show you didn't do.
Nice. Yeah. All right, let's wrap it up.
All right, boys and girls, thanks for tuning in to episode 55 of the Dumb Marks Podcast. We are live every Saturday at 11 a.m. on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Make sure that you go subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us, and follow us on Facebook. And you can listen on demand to our podcast every Monday. And make sure that you go to prowrestlingtees.com/dumbmarkspod and buy some of our merch. Before we wrap things up, the only thing that I have left was I wasn't sure where to put it, sports or WWE, was WWE and MGM are partnering up to relaunch American Gladiators.
Saw that.
Yeah.
Is this the third time or the fourth time?
Yeah, I think so.
This will be number 3.
Number 3.
And then they also announced with this that they're going to do a 30 for 30 about American Gladiators.
I'd be interested.
I did see that. Yes.
Yeah,
That'd
that should be pretty cool.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
Blade, Laser, Gemini.
So you got all the good stuff out of that, and it's just like, okay, like now you get to pick, like, all right, which WWE superstars are going to be the gladiators. And,
please.
I mean,
They
Karrion
can
Kross
stay out
already
of
got
that.
the uniform for it, so
There's your job, Riddick Moss.
Yeah, the final thoughts for me that I saw that got a pop out of me this week that I laughed at. At the San Francisco Giants baseball game, you know how they'll throw up like scoreboard messages and stuff that people can get put on there from time to time. And this one just said, "Happy divorce, Max. Back to the game." Gave himself a shout out. Somebody gave him a shout out for getting a divorce. Yeah, no. So that was pretty hilarious. I didn't see anything else.
Do have Netflix has a movie. What is it called? Don't Look. I think Don't Look Up with the likes of Meryl Streep, Leo DiCaprio, Jonah Hill, and then they just purchased Roald Dahl's whole catalog. So like James and the Giant Peach, Iron Giant, Willy Wonka, and all that, and they'll be, I guess, working for new projects going on after that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do we want to get into the Marvel article that I sent over with the lawsuits and the can't, the rights to the characters and the heirs? I don't know.
I know they talked about it in the article too, and I remember when the whole Superman lawsuit was going on, and nothing really came out of that. Nothing changed.
Yeah, I mean that was unsuccessful. The same attorney that defended the DC in that lawsuit with Superman, and I forget who was the other character, but Disney hired. So again, I guess it's going to the heirs of the creators for these characters are trying to claim that the rights to those characters should be theirs. And they're bringing lawsuits against Marvel for Iron Man. There was like 3 or 4 that the article said. It's an interesting read. If you're a Marvel, if you're a superhero fan and that, it's an interesting read. If you like me and studied law and everything else, it's an interesting read from the legality side of things for like the defense and what's used and whether or not the same defenses that the attorney who's representing Marvel will use the same that he used in the DC suit. It's interesting to see how it's going to play out, but I don't think it'll be successful. It wasn't successful with DC. I don't think it'll be successful with Marvel. It was just something that was interesting because these characters are literally worth billions of dollars. So
yes, they are.
So I mean, what are they trying to say? Like that they're because the people that signed these contracts and these deals years ago, since they're no longer around, that they should be able to take money for it. I mean,
it's kind of looked upon as I guess like to simplify it and kind of put it down without like getting too convoluted and not have to go back in and reread it, but think of it as like like property that's involved in a family trust, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my great grandfather started a trust way back in the early 1900s, and this property and whatever the trust fund was made up of continues to pass down generation upon generation throughout the family tree, whatever. Everybody gets a piece of the pie, so on and so forth, until the trust comes to an end and then it gets dispersed out amongst whoever's left. Well, these rights to these characters based off of the creator's original creation of them, they're claiming that those characters should be kind of passed down to the heirs of these individuals. So they should be receiving money off of these characters, which is why you get into the billions of dollars, because of how often these characters are used in movies and comics and the whole 9 yards. And so then it would be like, we own the rights to Iron Man, we own the rights to Thor, we own the rights to whoever you want to say is own the rights. You need to pay us to use them. You know what I mean? Like you need to buy it from us, like that. So
did they sell the rights?
I see where they're coming from, but they're not going to win.
Yeah.
If you want to,
have already been sold to them, like to Marvel and DC. I don't see them winning this. If you want
to kind of get caught up to see like where Marvel is right now and dealing with it, as a base level stuff, like go back and look up the DC Superman hero lawsuit and read up on that and look into that, because then that'll give you kind of the groundwork for why these claims are being brought and the attorneys that are being used and everything else. So but yeah, just interesting. I saw it, I was like, oh, that's interesting, yeah. So all right, anybody got anything else final thoughts wise?
No, I'm good.
All right, to wrap up the show this week, little positivity in your life. Take it or leave it. It's up to you. But growth is painful. Change is painful. But there's nothing as painful as staying stuck somewhere you don't belong. With that being said, I'm a Mark. You're a Mark. Tell a Mark. Thanks for watching the Marks. And until next time, y'all can catch us around the way.